Hi. A strategy an analyst can use in the design of the database is to gather source forms and documents. Suppose we have the following source form. Let's zoom in. So in this source form, we have the following information: order number, order date, until price. So let us go through the normalization process. Now, what is normalization? Normalization is simply the process of eliminating anomalies. So it's process of simplifying the structure of data. Now, in the two concepts or idea that you need to understand for you to go through the normalization process is to understand functional dependence and determinant. So supposing we have the following. So rate here is functionally dependent on job type. So in other words, for me to know rate, I need to know the job type. For me to know contact number, I need to know who the customer is. So in other words, customer name is the determinant, which is, it determines the value of another value. For me to know quantity or who bought, how many items was bought, I need to know who bought the item. That's the customer name. And what was the item that was bought? Okay, so with that understanding, let's go through the process of normalization. Now, the first normal form says it was defined to disallow multi-valued attributes. That is, you separate the repeating groups from the non-repeating groups. So from our form, it is very clear what are these non-repeating groups we have here. And these are the repeating groups. So you just have to separate that in two tables. So we have this unnormalized table, and I have in green are the non-repeating, and the one in red are the repeating groups. But take note that there is the order number here. I place order number to establish the link or the relationship between the repeating from the non-repeating groups, because obviously this table cannot exist without this table. Or for me to know product number, I need to know order number. So from the first normal form, we can say that we have successfully separated the repeating group from the non-repeating group. Okay, now the second normal form says it is a relation is in the second normal form if it is in first normal form and every non-key attribute is fully functionally dependent on the primary key. Now, what does that mean? It means that you focus your attention to the table that has the composite primary key. In this case, you focus your attention here. So we have actually two keys, order number and the product number. So we need to ask the question, do I need to know both order number and product number for me to know product description? No, only product number. How about quantity? For me to know quantity, do I need to know both order number and product number? Yes. I have to know who made the order. That is, in this case, in this information. And I also need to know what was the item that was ordered. But for me to know price, I don't need to know order number. I just need to know product number. So from here, we separate the fully dependent from the partially dependent. So meaning, what are these attributes that are fully dependent on the composite key, and what are these attributes that are partially dependent on the composite key? So we have separated that. Quantity is dependent on order number and product number, and price and product description is dependent only to product number. Okay? So we are now in the second normal form, and we just copied this table because there is no composite key to this. So we just copy. Now let's go to the third normal form. The third normal form says a relation is in the third normal form if it is in the second normal form and no transitive dependencies. Now, what is transitive dependency? It is when a particular attribute is dependent on a non-primary key. A non-primary key. Now, everything here, they are dependent on a primary key. So no more transitive dependencies here in these two tables. But here, we eliminate transitive dependencies. For example, order date is dependent on order number, which is a primary key. This is correct. Customer name is dependent on order number. But customer address, I don't need to know order number for me to know customer address. All I have to know is the customer name, which happens to be a non-primary key. So this is a case of a transitive dependency. So we have to separate this as one table. Likewise, salesperson number is dependent on order number. Yes, but for me to know salesperson name, I don't need to know order number. I just have to know the salesperson number. So we separate and name this to three separate tables. We have order, and we have the customer, and salesperson. Now, this, we can have this as our primary key, and this is a foreign key. This would be our foreign key. Here, customer name can be our primary key. Salesperson number could be our primary key. And then we have order number, which is in order details, will be both primary key and foreign key. Okay, and here, product, this will become our primary key. So this is how the tables will be related. That's okay. So I believe this is already well structured. And we were able to do that until the third normal form.